Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. I went a little lower. You just like
it
go
was
high,
a
I
little
went
lower.
low.
I like the variation.
Pardon me. My throat's a little scratchy today, so forgive me if I sound a little off or you hear a little more coughing than normal. Anyway, if you can read, and I sure hope you can, you'll know the title of this episode is Lisa Frankenstein. Troy and I saw the new movie directed by Zelda Williams and starring my new crush in the world, Catherine Newton. And we are going to talk about it. TB&J! TB&J! Oh, Troy, there's a showing in 10 minutes right now.
Oh.
You want to go see it again?
TB&J! So if we hit like an 8-minute recording and then hit the theater again, then we can probably make it in time.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this real fast?
Okay, no, we're gonna do the normal thing. So, if you're new around these parts, the thing that we do, every single piece of media we watch initially gets either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Why? Because on the internet, everything's either the best thing ever or the worst thing ever. There's no shades of gray on the internet. And then we're gonna talk about it, and then at the end, we'll give it a more nuanced letter grade. Think of your old high school teacher or something. Troy, start with you.
Yep.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to
What about
surprise you? I'm going to surprise you.
Uh-huh.
Thumbs way the fuck up. Holy shit, this movie was good. So, for long-time listeners, the podcast, and there's one person in particular I'm thinking of who has this problem with me. I have a tiny bit of a recency bias.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Part of that might be because I have severe ADHD with the attention span of a goldfish. Part of that might just be because I like shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I tend to give things I've seen very recently a little bit higher of a grade than I normally would. I'm going to do my best to control that. However, this movie was really, really fun. This movie was really, really fun.
Jeff,
we
saw a good movie in 2024.
We saw a really good movie in 2024, and here's the kicker, right? As of this recording, we are recording on the night of February 15th.
Yep.
It has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes
I've
out of
seen that.
134 votes.
Yeah, it was at 49 last time I saw.
Yeah, it's got a
So it's
6.6 on IMDb and a 47 on Metacritic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't personally I don't understand it. It's a really good movie, and they did it on a shoestring budget. It's like $13 million according to Google here.
And it shows in the first half a little bit more than like there was a period of time before Cole Sprouse sort of enters this movie where I was kind of like, oh, is this gonna be kind of like slow and boring? And I feel like as soon as Cole Sprouse makes it into this movie, I'm immediately like, oh no, this is pretty fun.
Oh no, this movie is incredible fun, and I was with it every single twist, every single turn, so much so that I was in a movie theater with 4 other human beings. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The whole theater, and there's 5 people, me by myself, a couple, an older couple that sat way in the back.
I was in an only slightly more filled theater.
And then almost towards the end of the previews, fucking, what's her name, is almost on the screen telling me how great AMC is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman. She's almost on screen telling me how good things are.
Have you seen? Oh, wait, first.
And these 2 women walk in talking at the top of their lungs. So much so that I can't hear Nicole Kidman. And then they sit down in their seats 3 rows behind me, and I hear the older of the 2 ladies say, "Oh, I hate these seats." And they move and they sit directly next to me. Directly next to me. It was me to the right of me. Thankfully, I put my jacket. They sat the next 2 seats. They were right there. You have the whole theater, guys. You had to sit next to me.
I think that what they should have done is just sat on either side of you, left and right.
They kept
surrounded you.
They were talking the whole movie at full volume.
I was wondering about that because you texted me as they walked in. I was at home, minding my own business, and you immediately were just like, "Oh no."
Yeah, just oh my goodness gracious! It was just fucking. But I'll be honest, it didn't detract from my enjoyment of the film. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. All right, So I'm gonna walk us through the plot here. And
well, first,
oh yeah, you had a point. I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Have you seen the So you know, like those like kind of rounded. I forget I don't know what they're called, but like they're like a rounded sort of backpack thing that they put a bunch of characters and stuff on. They're like basically they're like the Squishmallows of backpacks right now.
Oh,
and they're all over Hot Topic.
They're called something fly or fly something.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. When we went to Disney World, my wife and I, we saw all those fucking backpacks with like different characters all over them.
Mm-hmm.
Let me Google stupid backpack.
There's some that are
with licensed characters. Oh my god! First result. It's called Loungefly.
Can you see it?
It's these. It's this, right? Yeah.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about.
They're the Loungefly bags, and this one is $100, not including shipping.
That's wild because I've seen them in Hot Topic for like $30.
I guarantee you haven't, unless they're on deep sale because they've been sitting for a minute. Also, it's Hot Topic. Don't use that to gauge your prices.
Sure, but I'm just saying. But did you know this is a Nicole Kidman one? From
no.
that ad?
Wait, what?
It looks like her jacket. Look up Nicole Kidman backpack.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, you can buy that right now.
It's called the in-hand AMC bag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Why? Why are they leaning into this? Oh no! And people on the first of all, there's an AMC A-list subreddit, and
Sure.
they're all over this. They're like, "This is amazing." I hate this. Oh my god! Oh boy! Oh boy!
It is every time I see an AMC movie, it is a whole thing of just.
Oh
like,
my god! The other side of the backpack that's like on your skin. It says "Heartbreak feels good" in a place like this.
Oh, we should both get one.
Yeah.
You and I should be the only two people who. I guess apparently not the only two people who have this. So you said the subreddit's all over.
There's r/Loungefly that loves it, and r/AMC's A-list that loves it.
I would love to see what.
Thank you, by the way, for fucking up my my ad algorithm.
Yeah, you're
for
gonna get those for the next
yeah.
month.
Oh, you like Loungeflies? Oh, did you see this Nightmare Before Christmas one? What about this other Nightmare Before Christmas one? What about this one that looks like Winnie the Pooh and it's got little ears on the top? Can't wait to get all those ads, buddy. Whoo boy!
You're welcome.
Thanks. Was that it?
That's all I got for you.
All right,
I just
awesome.
needed to let you know about that backpack.
Thank you.
And that
thank
we
you.
are both getting them.
No, absolutely not.
You're getting one from Christmas for me.
This film combines so many things I love all in one neat little package. It's almost as if the writer, whose name is Diablo Cody, and
this movie is done by Zelda Williams and Diablo Cody, which is two incredible names.
Yeah, I have no idea what Diablo Cody has done otherwise. I'm looking at it now. Oh, shit.
The only thing I know is that Diablo Cody did Jennifer's Body because they had a statement.
You know what else they did? They were a writer on Juno back in 2007.
Okay.
With what was that? Michael Cera and Elliot Page,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yep.
or
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons was in that too. There was a lot of really good actors.
Yep.
Jennifer's Body, a movie called Young Adult with Charlize Theron, a movie called Paradise. A lot of movies. All right,
Movies that aren't this one.
lot of movies that I haven't really heard about other than Juno and Jennifer's Body. And writer on the remake of Evil Dead. All right. 2013.
2013. Okay, not the newest.
Uncredited. They did script revisions. Excuse me. I'm so sorry about my throat, everybody. Anyway, and then Zelda Williams, who, as far as I know, I don't think I've seen anything else.
As far as you know, you don't know.
Yes, hilarious. I haven't seen a whole lot of other stuff that she's done, as far as I know, unless it's been like under the radar stuff. But I'm so fucking
Avengers Endgame.
She directed Kappa Kappa Die back in 2020, and the movie Shrimp back in 2018.
Don't know either of those.
Haven't seen them at all. But fucking...
I'm aware of the crustacean.
You're aware of the crustacean? People most commonly know Zelda
Shrimp's
Williams because
right?
she's the daughter of Robin Williams, the late, great legend Robin Williams. That's where the Williams comes from.
That I never made that connection, and I knew he had a.
Are you being
daughter
serious?
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I knew
this is literally Robin Williams' kid.
Genuinely, in my mind, I knew that Robin Williams had a daughter named Zelda, and I knew this movie was made by a Zelda Williams, and I just didn't.
You didn't put A and B together?
No.
My guy, what are you doing with your life?
I'm bad at math. I'm really bad.
Apparently. So this is Zelda Williams' first like real big theatrical release, I think. And Diablo Cody has done a few things other than this, but first thing I've seen that they've written other than Juno, I think. Regardless, match made in heaven. You took everything I loved and mashed it together. You took the 80s, you took Catherine Newton, you took goth people, you took horror movies in like the most kitschy sort of way, and then fucking comedy, and you rolled it all into one glorious big mush-mash ball, and I fucking loved every minute of this movie. I really, really did. Not to say this movie's not without flaws.
Sure.
But it's so fucking good. I really do want to go through this whole movie bit by bit because there's so much good that happened in it, and I don't remember everything off the top of my head perfectly. So we'll start. In 1989, Lisa Swallows is a lonely, weird girl still reeling from her mother's gruesome axe murder. The movie...
I love that they talk about the axe murder, and they really just kind of like gloss over. Like, I thought there was going to be a big reveal at some point.
So did I.
That they're like, oh, it was actually the dad, or it was the mean stepmom.
They set it up to be like maybe it is the dad because he remarried 6 months later. Like, I was like, oh shit, and man moved on quick.
The best thing is they never elaborate on it again, right?
No.
And
show up, axe murder mom, disappears, refuses to elaborate.
But it also genuinely could also be the dad. Like, it's not like a thing where it's like, oh, I guess it wasn't him. It's like...
The dad is really creepy, and he's so, like, distant. It's so bizarre.
Well, it's a combination of... He could be really weird and creepy, or he could be sort of like the dad from, like, Coraline, who's just sort of, like, busy and sort of despondent and doesn't really pay attention. So it's like you kind of have to pick one.
just to harp on how weird this dad is real quick. So there's a scene where Taff is asking Lisa to cover for her because she's not going straight home after cheer practice. And she's like, oh, Dad usually works late. He's not going to care. And she was like, well, you know, Daddy's always doting over me. He's like, make sure you're home. Make sure you're okay. Where have you been? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, he does? Like, this is like news to Lisa that the dad is doting all over Taff. And I'm like, oh no, does he have a new victim? Are they playing into how creepy this man might actually be? I really want them to elaborate on that further. And unfortunately, based on the ending of this movie, they won't. At least I don't think they will. It'd be really hard to make a sequel to this movie, I think. But if they can do a sequel to Beetlejuice, then they can do a sequel to Lisa Frankenstein.
It's true.
But her mother was gruesomely axe murdered. Her father, whose name is Dale, remarries a horrid, narcissistic woman named Janet, while Lisa gains a stepsister named Taffy, which is that's a weird name for a person, right? I mean, Jeff and Troy don't really have room to talk, but Taffy feels like not a real name for a human.
I mean, Jeff is pretty standard.
Lisa spends much of her time in a local bachelor cemetery. Didn't know those existed. I didn't know there were special cemeteries just for lonely dudes. I thought it was just r/incel.
Sorry, you got sent to the Virgin Cemetery.
Oh, you never got fucked? Oh, straight to the Virgin Cemetery. I'm so sorry. Much to the chagrin of her stereotypical family. So, Janet's super narcissistic and terrible. Taff is like captain of the cheer team. You know, exactly what you think a popular girl in a high school in 1989 would be. And then they're getting ready for a party in the beginning. Like, she's dragging Lisa out to this high school party. And she's doing her very best to include Lisa in everything. She goes out of her way to tell people, like, we're sisters, and we share everything, and I love her, and blah, blah, blah. And Lisa is just like the stereotypical misfit girl. Taff is the stereotypical cheerleader. You wouldn't expect her to be as embracing and loving as she is, but she is.
No, she's actually a great character.
Taff is an absolutely wonderful character who, like, genuinely did nothing wrong. I really do love her and like feel for her by the end of this movie. And it kind of makes you turn against Lisa a little bit towards the very end, but then she brings it back. So while they're getting ready for the party, Taff convinces Lisa to use her tanning bed that she won from a fucking beauty pageant. It's like the grand prize, and it like electrocutes her, but not killing her. I guess just like a painful zap. But they go to the party, and Lisa ultimately gets drugged because I guess a girl hands her a cup and says, "Take a sip," and it's like, "Oh, I thought you were cool." You know, it's like the whole fucking
sure.
peer pressure shit we were taught back in the 90s. And then
And then you peer pressured me into doing a podcast.
yeah. And then her lab partner Doug seemingly tries to help her, but then tries to sexually assault her. And Lisa stumbles out and into the cemetery where she speaks to her favorite grave that she reads next to and talks to.
Which is a thing we all have.
Yeah, right? Everyone's got their favorite grave.
Everybody's got one.
Everyone's got one. Don't pretend.
Don't pretend like you listening right now. Don't pretend like you don't got a favorite grave.
Yeah, don't pretend you don't have a favorite grave.
You've
Everyone's
got a
one.
favorite grave.
Troy, what's your favorite grave?
My favorite grave. Jonathan.
You got this. Come on, I believe in you.
I was gonna say Jonathan Majors, who I guess might as well be dead.
Jesus Christ!
Sort of in the zeitgeist is.
I was gonna say Ben Franklin because I'm a true Philadelphian.
That's a better answer. I was trying to come up with the last name, and Majors was the only thing that came to mind.
You could have also said like Lincoln or Washington or any of those famous big graves.
I'll say Edgar Allan Poe. We've actually been.
Oh,
there.
Edgar Allan Poe. That actually, you know what? That actually is my favorite grave.
You and I have actually been there. Yeah,
we have.
There you go.
I've been there twice.
Oh.
Yeah, I love going to Edgar Allan Poe's grave. And there's
Is he still on there?
Yeah. I mean, I hope
sure?
so. I haven't checked personally, but
you should look into that.
Thank you, Aaron Rodgers. She speaks to her favorite grave of a young Victorian man, saying she wishes that she were with him. A bolt of green lightning strikes the grave after Lisa leaves the grounds, and the young man is brought back to life as a lovesick zombie, known in the credits as the Creature.
Yeah,
he does not get a name.
I'm surprised they didn't give him a name.
He doesn't speak. He can't tell her his name, and the grave is worn away.
Yeah.
So how would you know his name?
I don't know. There's.
He died in like 18-7. There's no way he could just pull his wallet out and be like, "Here's my driver's license."
There's some ways you probably could have gotten it in there, but I got
it was a bachelor's grave.
I am not against the fact that they did.
First of all, love that he's unnamed. Second of all, it completely makes sense. It's an old abandoned cemetery. Like, just let it be. Lisa is left home alone, and the Creature breaks into the residence and terrifies Lisa. Lisa, who survived an ex-murderer storming into her house and killing her mom, suddenly has this guy storming into her house through the window. I would also be terrified. And it's so funny that the neighbors are just like, "Oh, I bet it's that neighbor girl." Who, the cheerleader? No, the other one. Like, oh, you're just making fun of the girl that lives next door, huh?
This is one of those movies where sort of the town. I don't want to do the whole cliche of the town is actually also a character, but like it kind of is at the same time. Like it's very kind of Edward Scissorhandsy in that way, where it's like everybody in the community. It's sort of like there's a lot of characters that aren't characters, but it's just sort of like the general vibe of the whole like town, where you're just like, oh, they all just fucking hate her. Like,
yeah, they all like
in the most passive aggressive way.
Yeah, because she's just the goth girl misfit. Like, that's just the stereotype she fits into.
Which seems super cliche, and somehow in this kind of is and isn't at the same time. They kind of pull off like a happy medium where it's like they're doing all the things I've seen before. But I feel like every single one of them somehow feels new to me in this. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it further.
It's written by somebody who grew up with those stereotypes happening around them in real life, and also expressed on the mediums they were watching at the time. Like, Zelda Williams was born in 1989. She probably grew up watching TV in the 90s and early 2000s, probably old 80s movies as well. Like, you see this shit in The Breakfast Club, and it's supposed to be an over-dramatized version of, like, what happened in real life. But, like, that stuff did happen in real life. And people that lived it and saw it, they wrote this in a certain way where it's, like, kind of jabbing it, but also you can smile and laugh at it. And this is the one time I've wished, more than anything, we could have D on the podcast. As an older millennial, I assume he would have more to add to this. I really wish he could be here with us today.
They should have put a zombie in The Breakfast Club. It's my take.
George Romero's Breakfast Club.
Yeah. It's the same movie otherwise.
It's the same movie otherwise. It's just everyone's zombies.
No, just one zombie.
Oh, just one zombie.
A single zombie.
Is he like a normal high schooler?
Yeah, I think so.
He's just walking down the hallway and like the bully knocks his books out of his hands. He's like, brains.
not watch that? Would you not watch Breakfast Club but with one zombie?
That sounds like an interdimensional cable bit that Rick and Morty would do. That's exactly what it sounds like. We now return to the Breakfast Club with one zombie. Prom?
I'm just imagining Bender bullying one zombie.
He doesn't even walk like look at him. His fucking head's falling off. It's so decayed. Oh, what a loser. Oh my god, where was I? Lisa, despite her fear, decides to hide the creature and keep him safe within her closet. And this scene was kind of endearing, but also I couldn't stop laughing the whole time when she like hands him the soap and gets him in the shower, and they're like playing dress up, and he's putting on all these different 80s clothes. And of course, they settle on the traditional Violent Femmes t-shirt, and then just like the ironic suit jacket over top. Just fucking mwah. Perfect.
Which again, a scene I've seen 1,000 times before, and for some reason I'm like, oh, they're doing the dress up thing, and I'm like excited for it this time.
Yeah, right? Like they're doing it kind of with a wink and a nod.
But they're like, but it's not like too much of a wink and a nod where you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah, you're doing the thing, and they're not lampshading it.
Yeah, they're not lampshading it. They're not hamming it up. It's just like, oh, hey, this thing. Now we're gonna actually do it, and we're gonna do it with love instead of pointing fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this whole movie just reads as a love letter to all the cheesy 80s movies we watched as kids. Or as adults, you know, fucking cheesy 80s movies are great. Again, Breakfast Club, I'd watch it even with a zombie. And it's just this whole movie just comes from a place of love for this time period and these styles and the way that films were made back then. All of this is just perfect. It's just wonderful.
It's also kind of like a rom-com that's like a thing that they don't do anymore either. Like they
it's
don't.
It's a little bit of a I guess it is.
Yeah,
a rom-com. Yeah.
There's romance and comedy, which would therefore.
Yeah, I guess so.
Ergo.
I guess so. This next line just kills me. The creature, as a traditional undead, is nonverbal. I didn't know the undead had traditional rules.
Confounded modern undead.
None of these modern undead in my movies.
This ain't no vampire.
Not my undead.
This ain't no ghoul. This ain't no... We're a genuine classic vampire.
This ain't no Monster Mash. He's nonverbal, missing multiple body parts, and extremely dirty, and he expresses early shame of this because he wants her to like him, and he's just like, oh, I'm decaying and terrible. This sucks. I'm so sorry. But Janet antagonizes Lisa and threatens to send her to an asylum. So we get little bits and pieces of this, and the character of Janet is so well done in that you hate her fucking guts immediately. And as soon as she shows up in the bedroom wearing the white nurse uniform with the hat, I was like, oh, is she trying to do like a Nurse Ratched right now? Like, is that what we're going for right now? Because you're selling it pretty hard. I would believe that you're fucking Nurse Ratched right now. And she threatens to send her to an asylum, and then the creature just opens the closet behind her and smashes her over the head with a sewing machine. And I was like, oh, he knocked her out. Oh, there's a pool of blood. Oh, she's dead. He just killed Janet. I verbally out loud, I was like, whoa, in the movie theater. I was like, oh shit, he killed her. he actually killed her. And then they kind of almost breezed over that just because Lisa is so happy to be rid of her. And then he's like, oh, yes, now I can have an ear. And he cuts off her ear and gives it to Lisa because she has a job as a seamstress. And he's like, yeah, you can attach this. So she does, and it doesn't work. Oh, man, I guess that sucks. And then he's like, no, lightning. He draws a lightning bolt on her hand, and she has this moment where you can almost see the light bulb go off. She's like, oh, yeah, we have to electrocute you. The tanning bed that killed me, that electrocuted me earlier. Didn't kill her. Not yet. And they electrocute him in the tanning bed, and then the ear works. And he's also noticeably a little less dead. And I was like, oh, I guess that's how that works.
He's more Zach more Cole. Cody than he was zombie before.
Oh, you were doing a Zach and Cody thing.
I was trying to, and I forgot which one he was.
They're twins.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which one he was.
I know which one he was, though.
You could just say Zach and Cody, and that's just the umbrella. You're good.
No. He's Cody.
Is he?
He is. He is.
It's always billed as Cole and Dylan Sprouse. I figured he was Zach.
I believe he's Cody.
All right. Well, I'm sure
That's
two
why
of them
Diablo
know.
Cody hired him.
I'm sure. Shut up. I'm sure that
It was a connection.
I'm sure that Dylan and Cole Sprouse know who played who, but beside that, I don't think anyone cares.
What if they don't?
What if they
have
would intentionally
no clue?
switch? Like, I wonder if like the actors who played Fred and George.
Well,
in
they
Harry
do.
Potter.
They do look kind of different. Like you can they're identical twins, but you can kind of tell which one's which if you know.
I'm sure their mother knows. I don't, but I'm also not studying their faces.
If you showed me a picture of both of them standing next to each other, I could tell you which one's which.
Yeah. So after she electrocutes him and gets the ear working, Lisa has this great idea of luring Doug, who tried to sexually assault her, to the cemetery, and which works like a charm, and it's beautiful. I loved her luring him in. It was fucking awesome, and I loved that she was a good 5 inches taller than him. It really just, I loved it. I loved every bit of this. She lures him into the graveyard, and then cuts off his hand. And it's like, great, now we have a hand for the undead creature man. Now you can get your hands back. And then it says here in the summary that the creature kind of panics, or Doug panics, and the creature kills him. Like, I don't know if they intended to kill him, but how are you going to steal his hand and not kill him? I think this summary might be written a little weird.
Yeah, they definitely seem pretty intentionally ready to kill that guy.
Yeah, but then they hide the body along Janet's. Oh my God, Janet's body. The whole scene with Janet after he cuts the ear off and hands it to her, and she was like, "Oh no, I can't do that. Not until we bury the body." And I was like, "Yes!"
Yeah, this is a whole movie, and I saw it with our friend Caitlin, who
beautiful friend of the pod,
was very much in the camp of, sometimes a girl's got to do murder. This is a movie kind of made for her.
Absolutely.
And it's and that's sort of just the theme of this, of just like this is a movie of just what if the what's the word I'm looking for? The something thoughts. The intrusive thoughts. Basically,
yeah.
What if the intrusive thoughts were just thoughts?
Yeah, what if the intrusive thoughts were just thoughts? What if you just acted on every little instinct? Why not?
Sometimes it is just there's like a gateway killing, and then suddenly it's just like we can just sort of kill anybody who's really mean to me.
Yeah, we really can, and then we can just put them all in this big empty grave that no longer has a body in it. 'Cause why not? Oh, and after they dump her body in the grave, they're standing over it, and she turns to the creature and she's like, "Is it peaceful down there?" And he just looks at her and just shakes his head no. And then she smiles and says "good" and kicks some dirt on top of the body, and then just walks away gleefully. And I'm like, yes, you go, Lisa. Fuck Janet, she sucked anyway. But then they kill Doug, dump her in there. And the creature starts looking like his old self now. He's got a hand. He's got an ear. The electrocutions have made his skin look less gray. He's a little more
bullying
flesh
Mr.
colored.
Mosby.
What?
He's bullying Mr. Mosby from the Bell. The
Oh! I see what you did there.
Yeah, in the lobby.
I you know what's funny? I watched so much Zack and Cody. I couldn't tell you a single thing
Interesting.
about any of that show. They lived there, I think, because Mom was the manager.
She was a singer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the rich girl whose family owned it.
Yep, and she was London Tipton, and it was the Tipton Hotel.
Wow, someone did their homework.
I just have Zack and Cody knowledge in my brain for some reason.
Are you the Zack and Cody super fan?
I think so.
Yeah.
Apparently.
You know what? Good for you. Good for you. Next week we'll cover Wizards of Waverly Place. Oh,
Not Sweet Life on Deck, where they go on a cruise ship.
Oh my God, I forgot about the cruise ship one.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I hate all of this. Anyway, with the new attachment, starts looking more like his old self, and he and Lisa start to bond. And then they have my favorite scene of the whole fucking movie, where he tries to show her that he plays piano, and he plays a little piece, and she's like, "Oh, that's great. Was that Mozart?" And he taps his chest. He's like, "No, it was me." And I'm like, "Oh, you had a whole ass life before you died." And then they play an REO Speedwagon song together, "Can't Fight This Feeling." and she sings it while he's playing it, and then like she gets
also-
up and starts dramatically singing it and dancing, and I completely fell in love with Catherine Newton in that moment.
I also kind of love that she's not that good at it. Like, it's not like a great, like, it's like she's
It's
kinda,
good.
sure,
Better
but
than I could do.
She's doing, but she's singing.
You can tell
how-
it's Catherine Newton actually singing it.
But she's also kind of singing like how a person would sing in their living room, or sometimes she gets like a little too like she's kind of singing it to herself real quietly, like she's not really like doing. She's not.
And then sometimes
performing.
she'll belt out a note, but then
Yeah.
she'll go right back to being a little.
Yeah, she isn't performing, and she's like, and it's like there's a little bit of like, oh, she is kind of awkward, so like they don't have her singing it like it's not a musical performance.
Right. It's more just to highlight he can play, and she's enjoying this moment together while she's dancing and singing, and they have this super good bonding experience, and it's fucking magical. I loved it. It's honestly my favorite scene of the whole fucking movie. I'm not even kidding. And then we get to the police starting to investigate the disappearances, because apparently Doug vanished, and people noticed.
This is also around the same time that the family is noticing that what's the mom's name again?
Janet.
That Janet has not been home yet, and she's in Milwaukee. She's supposed to be in Milwaukee.
She's supposed to be in Milwaukee. Taff goes to try to call her at the hotel, and she's not answering.
Yeah, this is the day she's supposed to come back, and all this is happening. And this is really when we start hitting like the real
consequences of my actions.
Yeah, as I'm having the time of my life and finally breaking out of my shell and doing all this stuff that I want to do, it's ruining Taft's life.
It's ruining Taft's life entirely. And just crashing down all around her.
Them walking into the school, and it's her in like her newfound kind of confidence, like kind of goth clothing.
Her new confidence and her new goth clothing and hair.
And Taff, who has been showing up in all of like she has all the great outfits, and is now just sort of like t-shirt, pants, sweatpants, sad.
Yep.
And the two of them walking in slow motion is also great.
Yep. Yeah, it's so fucking good. Also, after they can't get a hold of the mom on the phone, they Taff and the dad, Dale, they file a police report, I think, or a missing persons report.
Mm-hmm.
They call somebody and giving her a description. And while they're on the phone, Lisa's upstairs with the creature in her bed just chatting, while also using her vibrator to massage her back. And then they get a little more adventurous, and she has him, like, use it for its intended purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And she, while the dad's on the phone, she just screams, "Oh my God," as the lights flicker. And it's like, all right, well, the creature just made her orgasm with her fucking Hitachi wand upstairs. But then Taft starts crying again and just diverts his attention. And it's so fucking hilarious. It's so fucking hilarious. I love this goddamn movie. It doesn't feel forced. It felt really, really funny, and it felt like it would flow, not flow naturally, but
Sure.
like, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
It's a little, it's a fantastical kind of world. Like I said, it's like you said Beetlejuice before. I said Edward Scissorhands.
We've said it twice now.
And
you got to be careful.
Oh, okay.
BJ from now on.
Mm.
Or that weird film with Michael Keaton, which does not narrow it down.
We can call it the Michael Keaton BJ. Anyway.
You heard it here first, folks. The Michael Keaton BJ.
Did you hear they're making a sequel to Michael Keaton's BJ?
Oh, man, are they?
It comes out this year.
It comes this year?
Yeah, it comes this year, and this year you can get Michael
Keaton's BJ all
Michael
over you.
Keaton BJ, yeah.
Get it right in your eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't like this anymore. I don't like this podcast anymore.
Only in theaters.
Mr. Bones, I went off this crazy ride.
But what was I saying before that?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, but no, it's
you're talking about Beetlejuice or
Oh no!
Oh no! I did it. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Now he's in the studio with us. I'm not gonna do a Beetlejuice impression. I'm not. It's not gonna
I don't
happen.
know the impression. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie.
But no, it's sort of like a fantastical sort of fun, you know. Damn it! God damn it! I was gonna make it through. You fucked me up.
I'm so sorry, Troy. To my lovely audience, I'm very sorry. Between the giggles and my coughing and the tangents, I'm very sorry. Please forgive me.
But it is sort of like a fantastical kind of like, it's not super super weird, but it's just weird and eerie enough. Like I said, like an Edward Scissorhands or Beetlejuice, where it's like they've set it enough. They've set it up enough where it's like, oh, anything that's really really weird can also happen here, because they don't really explain even like when he comes back from the dead. It's just sort of like she makes a wish and a lightning bolt hits the grave, and then he's in the movie. Like, there's never like an explanation or anything, and I think that's probably better. It's just a movie where it's just like, this is just a weird sort of like goth world where really only the main characters are goth, and everybody's kind of weird and everybody's just a cartoon in this, and it's just like anything that happens, just kind of fucking go with it.
Yeah. It's really really good, and there's just so much fun to be had in this movie. This is like the definition of like a popcorn movie.
Yeah,
you're just enjoying the ride. You're having a lot of fun. This is definitely going to be one that I purchase on a 4K disc and add to my rotation for like a movie night with friends.
I mentioned I watched this with Caitlin. And
yes.
She was actually nervous that you whether or not you'd like it or not, because
really
she was seeing reviews and stuff. And
she knows I love old horror movies and comedy and shit.
I basically pegged it as, I was like, I'm thinking about this movie, and I'm thinking about Jeff as a person. I'm gonna break him down on a analytical level.
Oh, you are, huh?
I think he's gonna like
you
this
and my shrink. Let's see who does it better. So, after they start investigating the disappearances, Lisa makes a decision that she can't go to jail or die a virgin. So she has to get laid, which is weird, kinda.
Sure.
But, like, I guess I can kind of... Like, this is where I say, like, the movie's not flawless, because the way that it kind of takes this weird turn and she suddenly is, like, sex crazed.
Well, the movie sort of exists without a conflict for a long time. It's just sort of, what if Lisa went around and murdered people who were mean to her and built a zombie boyfriend?
Yeah, and...
I mean, the conflict's more... The Cole Sprouse wants to be with her, and also
it's the same conflict in any romantic comedy where the two people just haven't quite connected yet, but they're working on it, they're figuring it out. And then she's in love with this Michael Trent guy, who's the editor of the Grackles, which is like their school publishing thing, whatever. And she submits poetry, and he's really into it, and blah 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 blah. Awesome. He's also got a cool leather jacket with studs on it. And she decides that she has to go fuck him before she dies or goes off to jail, because she feels like it's only a matter of time till they connect the dots, and she ends up going away to the clink or the electric chair, in her own words. So she leaves school, and she's walking home, and during this, the creature overhears... the dad saying that a neighbor saw the mom's car around the corner. So he's like, oh shit, I gotta go get it. So he goes out to get it, and while he's there, he gets approached by a boomer, what we would call a boomer. Back then, it was probably I don't even know, silent generation. Who was before boomers?
I have no knowledge of
old white guy.
Yeah.
All right, old white guy. And he's super old, super out of shape, and he, like, puts his arms up to fight him. And I was like, you're a fucking idiot, but okay. And he just gets clubbed, and then fucking the creature steals his clothes. It was really, really weird, like, kind of like almost Terminator-y. But then there was, like, a little boy just, like, waving goodbye, which I thought was really funny. He picks her up, and she's like, we gotta take me to Michael's house, because I gotta go fuck him before whatever happens. And the creature doesn't want to do it, because he loves her, and he doesn't want her to go fuck Michael. But he drives her there anyway, and he's upset about it. And then you see Taft's car outside. Oh no, conflict. And Lisa just waltzes into someone's house that isn't hers. She's now breaking and entering, I suppose. Or at the very least, trespassing.
This would have been a hard sell if this didn't play out the way it did.
I mean, it's still a hard sell the way it plays out.
Well, yes. It doesn't go great.
No. She goes upstairs to find him in bed with Taffy. Oh no! The boy she wanted is in bed with her sister. I love the editorializing that
you're doing. It's so great.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's the TB&J touch. Ding. And she's like, Taffy, how could you do this to me? You knew I liked him, blah, blah, blah. And then Taff, to her credit, like, she's like, first of all, he didn't like you like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't going to happen between the two of you. Secondly, every boy that's ever looked at her has only ever treated her as a piece of meat to be conquered. And Michael actually valued her mind, apparently, in her own words. So, like, for someone to I'm completely on Taffy's side.
Yeah.
Completely on Taffy's side. It sucks, and I'm so sorry, Lisa, but, like, it wasn't going to happen. I'm so sorry. Please get over it. But no, she's not going to get over it because the creature comes upstairs and chops off Michael's dick. In a very slow-mo scene where you see the shadow of a dick and balls flying through the air and landing in a trash receptacle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And Taff is screaming because she just watched her boyfriend's dick get chopped off. He's presumably slumped over dead. He's not moving for certain.
Yeah, he definitely isn't doing great.
No, but Lisa sends the creature leaves in the mom's car and drives away, and Lisa takes Taff in Taff's car to go find the creature. And Taff is just traumatized. She's not saying a word. She's just shaking, covered in blood, crying. It's really bad. And Lisa tries to, like, apologize and tell her, like, you were very nice to me. You adopted me as a real family. I'm so sorry for everything. And she doesn't say a word. And then Lisa goes to give her mom's rosary, and Taff, like, flinches, like she doesn't want her to touch her.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's afraid that she's going to kill her the whole scene.
Yeah! She just watched the creature murder her boyfriend by chopping his dick and balls off. It's a weird situation where I want to be on both of these people's sides, but I feel like they contradict each other.
Well, also, one of them is placed in this movie and is almost immediately in the wrong, like, for most of it, but it's just so charming that you're just like, yeah, you can murder people.
It's Catherine Newton's being a hot goth girl in 1989. She can murder people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works.
Yeah, most of the time, if you're a hot goth girl doing whatever, I'll probably be on your side.
Yep. And then so Lisa follows the creature to the cemetery, and she's like, well, and then she does admit, like, oh, I do love you. We should fuck so that I don't die a virgin. And he's like, he doesn't have a penis. He can't do it. And she initially is like, oh, well, that's okay. You know, we can still do other stuff. That's not what makes a man a man. And then he's like, no. That's why I chopped the dick off. I got it right here. And she's like, oh, like a fucking huge ass light bulb goes off. And I'm like, oh my God, people. What the fuck? What? And then a cop shows up and he just nonchalantly throws the cop in the open grave while they run along to the house, and she sews the penis on while he's standing
not
there.
Very clear of whether or not that cop is alive.
No, cop's definitely dead.
Yeah, but they didn't, like, I mean, how deep is the grave?
I'm going to assume it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Cop's dead. Cop's dead. And the scene where she's sewing his penis on while he's just standing there, like fists on his hips, just looking off into the distance, like he's trying to do like a Captain Morgan ad or some shit. And it's so fucking funny. And then she leads him to the sun-tanning bed, and they zap him. His dick works. That's great. They have a little sex scene. It's not really a sex scene. They're in bed, and then it cuts to like the little cartoon versions of them with the moon with the rocket in its eye. And then they're great. But then they realize, you know, the cops are coming. We gotta go. So she gets, presumably she soaks herself up and then gets in the tanning bed and has him kill her before she passes him a final note of, death is temporary, I'll love you forever. And it's like, is this supposed to be some, like, comedy 80s version of Romeo and Juliet?
I don't think so.
I mean,
they do spoilers
no, I guess
end
not.
up together, yeah.
It felt a little weird like that. But whatever.
No, this is just what if they made the most macabre rom-com movie.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Appropriate that it came out right around Mardi Gras too. So she puts herself in the tanning bed. He cranks it to maximum bronze and electrocutes her, and she dies. And the whole shed goes up in flames. And that's it. And then they cut to like the dad and Taff, who's wearing the rosary, dropping flowers off at her grave. And the dad doesn't seem like he gives a shit at all. He's just like, "Yep, we're here. Hi, Lisa," as he waves the flowers in the air. And then he's like, "All right, let's go see your mother." And then Fuddruckers. Like, he's really excited to go to Fuddruckers, even though he just buried his daughter and wife. Okay, Dale. Whatever floats your boat,
No,
you're
Dale-
definitely the axe murderer.
Dale's a great character because he genuinely could not give less in this movie.
He's got to be the axe murderer, right?
It's actually you can tell it's good acting and not just he's doesn't do anything, because it's just you couldn't accidentally give less in this movie, and it's great.
Yeah.
He's literally doing live action the dad from Coraline.
Oh yeah. It's chef's kiss. And then after the Taff notices on the grave it says "beloved wife," and she's like, "That's weird," but she doesn't really comment on it. And then we cut to the creature reading poetry from a book. So I guess he got zapped one more time, or maybe that the electrocution fire may have helped him out somehow. I don't know. The last little healing bit to make him a real boy. And in his lap is curled up Lisa, covered in bandages like a mummy, because she probably burned alive. Or was severely electrocuted with 3rd-degree burns. And they lived happily dead after, I guess.
So
although they didn't leave town, and
No.
she still looks like Lisa, so I feel like people would have questions.
Well, I mean, listen, that's not important yet.
I guess not. I'm not going to worry about it.
So I have seen...
Hold on.
Okay, go for it.
There's an alternate ending.
Okay.
There was supposed to be an original ending of Lisa's grave being cared by, like, a little boy. And, like, the same way she was caring for his grave. There's supposed to be a boy caring for Lisa's grave. And that was supposed to leave you, like, ambiguous.
Sure.
That was, like, the original ending. How do you feel about that?
I like this one better. I like these two more.
I feel like if she doesn't end up with him, what was the point?
Yeah,
of dying?
and also he sort of has, like, I feel kind of a blueprint on how to bring her back. So if he doesn't do it, then it's just sort of like, are you just an idiot? Do you just kind of not?
Well, how do you plan another lightning strike to hit a grave?
Well, yeah, I'm assuming it would probably be another tanning bed situation, but the tanning bed burned
Actually,
up. So.
wait, the tanning bed. So she got electrocuted in the tanning bed.
Yeah,
and that might be how she died, but it was also electrocution. So did it bring her back? So she just got up out of it?
I think it's probably a second shock that's off screen. You know, we didn't need to have another 30 minutes of him finding.
I assume they buried something.
Whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? It's however it is. She comes back, and they live happily ever after as a married undead couple, while he's reading his little poetry. I gotta say, for a man that's got 4 lines in this whole movie, Cole Sprouse did an amazing job. So much physical acting, so much grunting and noises and shuffling, like really, what's the word I'm looking for? Unsettlingly.
Yeah.
There's unsettlingly shuffling, and just he did an amazing job with what he had to do. I thought it's hard to pull off, shambling undead passably, especially for that long of a period of time. And he managed to fucking do it. It looked really, really good.
I've never seen a man more convincingly spit a worm into cereal.
Oh, God, me too. I think it was cottage cheese and fruit. Regardless.
You're right. You're correct. I knew it was a bowl of something.
It's whatever. It was absolutely disgusting. And it worked really well. It worked out great. Catherine Newton, amazing fucking job. Every actor in this film did an amazing fucking job. Even though I can't remember seeing any of them before, except obviously Catherine Newton and Cole Sprouse. That might just be because I don't recognize them. It's been years or
and
something.
we're both stupid.
I'm also stupid. Yeah, Catherine Newton. She's Ant-Man's kid, right?
In one of them, they changed actors at one point.
Yeah, when she grew up from like a little kid.
Well, no, she grew up, and then also between that movie and the one where she's actually I don't know which ant person she is.
Yeah,
but
the Quantum Mania one.
Yeah, I think Quantum Mania is a different person than the one from Endgame.
Oh, interesting.
I think they changed in the middle of that somewhere.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that they did that. Either way, this movie just is an absolute love letter to the 80s in general. The music, the styles, the old schlocky horror movies. This is just an absolute delight from beginning to end. I can understand why some people may not vibe with it as much, especially if you didn't like grow up loving this stuff already. If this is like your first foray into 80s things, if you're of a younger generation that didn't have this or didn't experience this, maybe you don't have that certain rose-tinted glasses for the decades the way that I do personally. I can't speak for you, Troy, but I'm assuming
I do. I think I just like this movie because it's I'm just a big fan of people's weird visions for movies.
That too. I really love when a weirdo is like, I've got this movie.
100%.
And someone says yes.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really love that. Like, I've never seen anything quite like this before. And in a world of reboots and sequels to movies that came out a million years ago, we talked about Michael Keaton's BJ 2 coming out later this year. I really love.
Like, yeah, like we said, like there's tons of stuff in this that we have seen before. And I've said that it's like a Michael Keaton's BJ or a Edward Scissorhands, but like it's also not really like that at all either.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth a watch. It's definitely worth a rewatch.
Oh yeah.
I think my only real complaint that I can think of off the top of my head is I'm kind of surprised that they never did a kill on the mean goth girl.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
That they just sort of excluded that.
They didn't really need her body parts for anything. They only killed people they needed parts for.
Sure. But it just feels like that was the other person that was...
what I said is not entirely true, actually. He killed Janet, and they were like, oh, wait, body parts.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, I can get a hand from this guy that grabbed my tit one time at a party that I didn't want.
It just seems... weird that they set up this character to be such like an antagonistic force in her life and didn't do anything.
She's the one who tattles on her for getting dug out to the cemetery.
Yep.
It's just oof.
The one who gets her high at the party in the first place.
Yeah, spikes her.
I'm surprised that character doesn't get anything happen to her.
Yeah, you know what? I am kind of surprised as well. That character definitely should have gotten killed. I don't root for murder too often, but I will root for murder here. Troy, do you have anything in particular you want to highlight before we close out here?
I don't think so. I'm just glad that you got gleeful enjoyment from a movie this year. After I guess you had gleeful enjoyment from The Beekeeper, but that's a different kind of enjoyment.
The Beekeeper I enjoyed because it was just a Jason Statham movie.
Mm-hmm. I'm just glad that we got a good content in general from this year so far.
Oh, absolutely. It was absolutely wonderful. This movie really just I hope this movie gets the recognition it deserves, and the writer and the director and the producers and everybody just gets they get what they deserve out of this. And it doesn't just get panned as some terrible, shitty movie.
I said our last movie podcast on Argyle that I think that could be like a cult classic kind of thing of just like some people were just
that's what I'm looking
for like a goofy thing that it was like, there's stuff in it. I think that this one has a genuine more like maybe not as big, but like almost more of like a Scott Pilgrim kind of thing of people later looking back at it and being like, hey, did y'all see this weird zombie Cole Sprouse movie? like I feel like it's that type of movie where it's like eventually people are going to be like, did anybody see this?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
How is it doing money-wise? I mean, it's made on nothing, so I imagine
we saw it. It came out last week. We are watching it 6 days after it came out. On a $13 million budget, it made $1.7 million on its first day.
Okay.
It went on to debut to 3.8 million opening weekend, finishing second behind Argyle.
And how much did you say it was made? It made for?
Budget was 13 mil.
Okay.
Very tiny budget movie-wise.
So they definitely made...
I don't even know where most of that budget clearly just went to like special effects.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like this movie doesn't need to be a big budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
It felt fine with what they had. You only had the house, the graveyard, and the school. That was it. It's all the places people went, which is great. I love when they keep it simpler. TV shows sometimes have what they call like a bottle episode or a bottleneck episode, where it's just a bunch of characters stuck one place and they have to talk and explore relationships. Those are some of my favorite episodes.
It's like a
of TV.
Tarantino movie, and it's 3 hours of that.
That too. I love Tarantino movies for that reason. The Hateful Eight was fucking amazing.
That Reservoir Dogs is that.
Yep. We can
he
go
does
on
a
and
couple
on.
of those, yeah.
But I love things where they keep it simple to really highlight the actors' interactions and the script. And it was really, really well done, in my opinion. I hope people change their minds about this 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I hope that time will out here.
Well, Jeff, here's the great thing about us having a podcast. We can just be like, you know what? Definitive answer. They're just wrong.
You know what? That's true.
We're two white guys with a podcast. We have the correct take.
Yeah, we do.
What's your letter grade?
Oh, I'm going first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not? I'll spring it on you this time. I'll make you do it.
I'm going to give this an A.
Okay.
An A minus.
Okay. You talked yourself down a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull it back a little bit. I know I've got the recency bias, and this film does just really play into everything Jeff likes.
Yeah.
There was a hot goth chick. There was undead people. There was funny stuff. There was 80s. I mean, Zelda Williams couldn't have directed a better movie if she had asked me for input personally.
It probably would make it worse.
I would have made it worse.
Yeah.
I would have made it worse.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah.
You know what? You know what? I bet she would have loved was me coming on to set uninvited and being like, you know how you can make your movie better.
And they go, have you ever been to film school? And you're like, well,
no, but I do have a podcast.
I do have a podcast. And they're like, you have to leave now.
Security! Kick him out hard.
I am going to, almost as a result of, I think that I don't know if I could have possibly liked it more than you. I'm very happy that you are this bouncy about this one.
I love this movie so much.
I'm going to go B.
Okay.
I'm going to go B. I think that the very, very beginning before Cole Sprouse, I was just like, ooh, is this going to set up and be kind of like awkwardly slow? It wasn't that at all. But like there was like a second of that. And I don't like that the other girl didn't get any sort of comeuppance. But I think that the rest of the movie, delightful and fun and this is for sure like a background this is both kind of like, it can be sort of like a background film that you can kind of put on like on a Netflix or something and just not really paying attention to it, or it's like a group movie night kind of movie.
This is definitely the next movie I'm playing a group movie night.
Mm-hmm.
This is my pick. This beats out Beekeeper for my pick.
Well, yeah, one's good and one's bad.
Well, the Beekeeper you can watch on mute. It's like the Fast and the Furious.
100%.
Yeah. Lisa Frankenstein, do not watch it on mute. Especially because 80s soundtrack, what? They got the cure, but not that kind of cure. They cure you like emotionally. All right, that does it. Now, before we go, Troy.
Yes.
When I saw this movie, I walked into the theater. It was the busiest I'd ever seen it in our tiny town's dying mall, which is officially up for sale. I don't know if you've seen that. And I was behind two larger groups of individuals. There was a family of 4 and another group of guys. There was 6 of them. And they were all there to go see Madam Web.
Which, as they should, as their civic duty.
I passed those people on my way out of the theater. And one of them I overheard saying, "What did I just watch?" He was genuinely confused. He was like, "Wait, like, what did I just watch?" And I was like, No, you're fucking with me, right? This is a bit. Ashton Kutcher's here with a camera, right? This is a bit. And then I heard his friend go like, "Yeah, I think it's like supposed to be in the Morbius universe, but like I don't see how it ties in. This is weird. And they were befuddled at what they had just
I
seen.
have heard people have the take of it might be worse than Morbius. I haven't seen Morbius. I'm one of the few people in the entire world.
But not either time it was in theaters?
No, I haven't seen it. I didn't see it either time, no. Do you think we can get Madam Web in theaters twice?
Oh, God.
Oh, please, God.
Yes.
Oh, it would make me so happy.
I would love for Sony to lose more money on this bullshit
They won't
movie.
do it a second time.
Also, Sydney Sweeney's in this movie. She's like all over the place all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Good for her, I guess.
Yeah.
I hope she gets better projects. Same with Dakota Johnson and the other characters in this
Did
movie.
you hear that they may have been tricked into thinking it was a Disney Marvel movie?
Oh, no.
Apparently, if you look up like old like Twitter posts and Instagram stories from them, like all the actresses, basically all the women,
yeah,
they all sort of give like a credit to Marvel Studios, which this movie is not.
No, this is
And-
Sony.
And there's a genuine theory that they thought that they were going to be in like a Tom Holland-esque Spider-Man movie.
Oh, God.
And then they walked in and they're like, no, this is like Morbius. And they're like, oh. And then they just had to do the movie because they've signed on at that point.
One of my favorite things.
Because also Dakota Johnson fired her agency after this.
Yes. And one of my favorite things ever in the world is she. I watch a lot of the late night shows, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert, etc. And Dakota Johnson made the rounds promoting Madam Web. She spent every interview not talking about Madam Web. She talked about her Gen Z co-stars a little bit and how she loves them even though they're annoying and make her feel old. And she talked about previous projects and mostly personal stories that she has with the host. The one comment she made directly about Madam Web was, yeah, they made a decision to use a lot of blue screen for a lot of the stuff, and I just don't know if it's going to be a great movie now. And
I don't even know
that
if
was
it's
the
gonna be good,
highest
is what she
praise.
said.
When your lead is saying, I don't even know if it's going to be a good movie. Out loud, on TV, trying to promote this movie. Like, I don't know if who has faith in it at that point? Like, the person you're paying to say it's good is not doing that.
You're in Madam Web. Who are you? Oh, I'm Madam Web. Oh, you must love it. Not really.
No. It's like Michael Caine when you ask him about what was it? Piranha 3.
No, Jaws 4.
Jaws 4?
the Revenge.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, I got a house out of it." And it's like, "Yep, that's the reaction to take."
I'm sure we'll talk more about the sort of media rounds
We
when
have
we
to.
talk about it.
We
I
have
also
to.
want to just let the audience know. I, at one point, turned to Jeff and went, so we didn't do, like, Morbius or anything.
Yep.
We're not doing Madam Web, right? And, Jeff, you turned to me and informed me. You were basically very, very authoritarian. Just, we're doing Madam Web. You're watching Madam
We're
Web.
doing Madam Web. Troy, you're sexist if you don't watch the female superhero movie.
Okay.
I'm very excited for the Madam Web podcast. As soon as it's over, though, I'm going to go back and see Lisa Frankenstein again to get the bad taste out of my mouth. I don't want to... All right.
I think you should stew in Madam Web.
If you're still listening, why? Secondly, I don't want to give off the impression that we've already made up our minds about Madam Web. We have not. We are only hopping on the internet bandwagon of, gosh, this movie
It's
looks
fun.
bad.
Let us have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, we're just having fun with the internet
Let them
right
play,
now.
Coach.
Yeah, let them play the game, coach.
Let
Let
'em
them play. They're just boys being boys. Let them play.
Just boys being
Put the
boys
flag
on
back in your
podcast.
pocket. Let them play, boys. And yeah, that's basically all we're doing.
That's the
We're-
first time you've talked about football since the Super Bowl. Are you recovering?
No,
Oh,
it still hurts, Troy.
I'm sorry.
We're going to lose so many players because we can't afford to keep everyone because contracts are up this year now. So, like, this magical super team we have is going to fall apart.
Mhm.
And we're not going to get back to the big game next year. I don't think we are if we lose too many key players. Obviously, LJ8 is staying. Obviously, Mark Andrews is staying. Obviously, Rose Smith is staying. But, like, beyond that, There's a lot of key play. Like Patrick Queen, he's leaving.
What if you put Madam Web on your team and she can see the future and she can see the future plays?
Oh,
Yeah.
Would they allow a co-ed football team?
I don't know. Could they stop her?
What a great response. Could they stop her? You know what? I don't know.
How do you prove she's a psychic?
I guess you could just fake it.
There you go.
I guess. I don't know, man.
I think, and also Dakota Johnson.
I've only ever heard of people faking it the other direction.
Yeah.
Like on Psych, the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Or anyone who claims that they can read minds or talk to the dead.
But also, Dakota Johnson probably would be happier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope she gets good projects after this. I really do. She's a fine actor.
Mm-hmm.
I just want her to get good work.
Also, another person in Hollywood who
Don
is,
Johnson's daughter deserves better. Continue.
I was going to say also somebody in Hollywood who is people are way too mean to.
Dakota Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the first thing they ever knew her for was 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
So they just shat all over her for that.
I'm not even necessarily like a fan. It's just leave her alone. Let her be.
Tell you what, I watched all 3 of those movies because my girlfriend at the time wanted to watch them.
Yeah.
And we did it as a bit, kind of. Yeah, it's a longer story I'm not going to go into publicly. But as a guy who watched the movies, the actors did their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their fault the script and the director sucked.
And
the actors
book, and the book it's based on is not very good.
Well,
either.
yeah, the source material sucks, the script sucks, and the director sucked. But the actors did their jobs. It's not their fault that the movie sucked. Not their fault that any of those movies sucked.
Did anybody in the movie suck?
A lot.
There you go.
Actually.
There you go.
There was cunnilingus.
Mm.
Lots of it. Perfect for you, Troy. Anyway, that concludes this episode of the TB&J
I don't know
podcast.
what that means.
Because you're asexual.
I know what kind of like. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Troy. Do you need me to explain how oral
No,
sex
I don't
works
need.
to you?
I got it. I figured it out in my head. I pieced it together. Thank you for your concern.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Can Lisa Frankenstein get pregnant because she's undead?
Is the baby a zombie?
Oh, questions.
Can you be born a zombie?
Did we just write the sequel?
I don't think so.
Zelda Williams, call me.